Hey guys, welcome back to Somebody Studios, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can add the halftone effects to your illustrations in using Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to use two ways to add those halftone effects. I'm going to use the same illustration we did last week, so if you want to use the same file to practice, you can find it in my previous video. I'll link it below. And so let's just start off. What I'm going to do in order to showcase you how you could do this, I'm just going to use this part, and then what we can do at the end of the video, I'll show you what it would look like once we have it on all the shadowy parts of the illustration. What I would do is make a copy of this. Okay, here you go. If you press Alt and then drag the shape, you can make copies. Okay, so there are two ways we can do this. The first way is if you go on Windows, if you go on Windows, then go on Swatches, and then on this library area, if you can click on Swatch Library, you will see Patterns, Basic Graphics, and Graphic Dots. So in this Graphic Dots menu, you will see there are so many different ways that you can, so many different dotted ways, right? This obviously is not the same as, like a gradient style dot, except for this one, which is similar to that. So if you want to just add something quick, just use one of these. I do that a lot. I really find it handy to just do this, and then I will just select these, and then I will use my align tool to get it back into the correct place. So how I did that is if I selected it, and then I selected this original location of the shape, then I aligned it to the leftmost part of these two objects there, and then I aligned it to the bottommost part of these two objects there. It just makes it easier to align the object that you want on top on the same place. Okay, and then if you like, you can just do go opacity, normal, and then multiply, or you can play with other effects as well. That works too. Let me see which effect I want to play with this day. I like the soft light. For this, I think the soft light works really well. So yeah, that's one of the first ways to do this. Really simple, makes it so easy for you to just add like some textures here and there. And if you think it's too much, you can also just go and decrease the opacity of this, so just subtly add some extra elements in your illustration. So now the next way to do this is, okay, we're going to do this again. Get a copy of this, similar way we did before. And now here, I'm going to change the fill color of this. So if you go on Appearance, underneath Properties, click on Fill, and then use this already existing white and black gradient. You can just do the gradient tool as well. And now what I would suggest is whichever gradient you think works best for you. I'm going to go with the linear gradient, but you can go with a radial gradient as well. I'm going to go with the line gradient because I think they work the best when it comes to this. Then I'm going to just adjust the angle. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to use the angle which follows the light direction of my illustration. Now I'm happy with this. Keep it selected. Now if you go on Effects, you go to Pixelate, and then Color Halftone. Now here, you can set your radius of the dots, and then you can use the channel colors. So these will be different colors, and if you want to do the same thing as well, just make sure that you add the same number to all your channels. Okay, and then I will press OK, and this is what I am getting right now. So the good thing about doing it with gradient is now we can adjust it. So if you press on gradient again, and then you hold this, and if you move this line down, you can see it's all getting altered just a tiny bit here and there. Now let me show you exactly what I meant. So this makes it really easy for you to see which direction would suit your illustration better. That's why sometimes if I want to have like a gradient of dots like this, I prefer this tool instead of going with like the pre-existing swatches. And let me show you what it will look like with the radial gradient as well. So you see where you have the dot, where you had the darker areas, it's gonna be darker, and where you have the lighter areas, that's where the dots will come from. And that's where the gradients kind of makes it like that's the starting point, the lighter part, and then the darker part is the part where it expands even more and more until it becomes one color. But yeah, I think the line and the gray and the circular radial gradient works the best when it comes to this. And yep, I want to try this. And the good thing about this is I can just try it by moving it down here. Oh, do it the same way I did before. There you go. And I want to adjust it again. And you can also rotate it. And I want to rotate it a bit more. There you go. Okay. And then next thing I will do is I will go to Object, Expand. Then I would do rasterize transparent. Okay. And then what I would do is just do image trace quickly. So if you go on Object, Image Trace, Make. Okay, that's fine. And then on the image trace, I would ignore color, which is by default. You can choose which color there you want them to ignore. And then you have this. But let's say I want to keep it to fix the changes later on. I'm just going to go to under appearance, opacity, normal, and then multiply. So multiply, actually what it does is just takes away any white areas in the image. And then what I would do is just decrease the opacity a little bit. And there you go. It's just like a simple, easy way that you can add halftones to your design. So what I've done here that I wanted to show you is that I made I've image traced the dots that I had initially. And if you see like there's a misshapen dots coming after you image trace it, just go on effects and then go on document raster effects and then change them to medium. But I won't recommend it if your laptop goes really slow. This illustration is not too heavy, so I'm able to do this. Otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to do this as well. But if you have a, like as I said, if you have a stronger computer, you can do that. So now what I would go is go to Object and then make it a compound path. So compound path, what it does is like when I'm trying to add a gradient, it will make it think that this is all just one object. So it'll be one gradient by itself. So let me just show you this. So I need to add this effect to it so you can see what it looks like before and after. So there you go. We have a first thing we have to add. So yeah, so now that I have added a bit of let me actually deepen the color just a tiny bit. There, I have like that. Okay, so now I've added it. I've added like a gradient on the whole, all of the dots, right? So now it's all one gradient, so you can see like it coming from becoming lighter to darker. I think it makes it look fun. And if that's the style you're kind of going for, you can do that. You can also just change opacity to make it multiply, decrease the opacity again, and yeah, that works pretty good. I like that, but I think I like its original more. So I'm just going to leave it at that. One other thing I wanted to show you is that if you don't do the compound path, so let's say you have this object. Now, if I go and release compound path, so these are all, you see, these are all different individual gradients itself, and these use they take the gradient that we added on this whole gradient. And so let me show you, these are all different ingredients. And if you go and do this one by one, it's just no, I would not recommend unless you're going for that specific look. Yeah, that's just crazy. But let me finish this now. Okay, so this is the two ways that we discussed in this video, and just to give you an idea, these do give really different looks, obviously. And this one but it really comes down to different preference. If you want something like really simple, just something quick, something quick, just you can just use this swatches tool, which I think looks really good. And because it doesn't have a white background to it, you can just literally do the opacity as overlay, and then it takes the color of the base layer, which I think looks really nice. And then if you want to have if you want to go with the halftone effect, that is also a really cool way. And in that, if you use the gradients, you can also alter it as you are placing it on top of your design. So yeah, this is a really fun video that I wanted to do, because there's so many different ways that we can add halftones to designs and all that stuff. So let me know what you think, and if you like this video, do let me know, and what else would you like to see in the future. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Bye.